Ladies, let me tell you something. There are 7 things a woman can do. 7 simple, womanly, almost invisible gestures that will melt a man's heart so fast he won't even know what hit him. And no, it's not your body. It's not your cooking. It's not how good you look in that dress, though, baby, you do look good in that dress. It's something deeper, something older, something wired into a man so far down that he doesn't even have words for it. He just knows that when a woman does it, something in his chest loosens. Something in him says, her, I want to be around her. I want to build with her. I want to protect her. And the crazy part, most women never use these. Most women have been talked out of them, told they were too soft, too old-fashioned, too much. And so they walk around holding a key that could unlock a good man's entire heart, and they never put it in the door. Well, not today. Today, we put the key in the door, so sit down. Get comfortable. Pour yourself something warm. Because I'm gonna break this down for you like we're sitting at my kitchen table, and by the time we're done, you're going to understand men better than most men understand themselves. And you're going to understand yourself better too. Let's go. Now, before I give you the 7 gestures, I need you to understand something first. Because if you don't understand the diagnosis, the prescription won't make sense. And I'm not saying this to shame you. I'm saying this to wake you up. See, here's what's happening in the world right now. Women have been taught for the last 20, 30 years that the way to a man's heart is through performance. Be impressive, be accomplished, be independent, be unbothered. Show him you don't need him. Show him you can do it all yourself. Show him you're a boss. And sister, listen to me carefully. There is nothing wrong with being accomplished. There is nothing wrong with being independent. There is nothing wrong with being a boss. I raise daughters. I want my daughters to have every degree, every dollar, every door open to them. But here's the brutal truth nobody wants to say out loud. A man does not fall in love with your resume. He does not melt for your LinkedIn profile. He does not lay awake at night thinking about your salary. A man falls in love with how he feels when he's around you. That's it. That's the whole game. And most women have never been taught what actually makes a man feel something. They've been taught what makes a man notice them. But noticing is not melting. Noticing lasts 3 seconds. Melting lasts a lifetime. Let me break down what's really happening inside his mind, because this is the part they don't teach you. A man, a real man, a grown man, a man with something to offer, walks through this world armored up every single day. He wakes up and the world tells him he is only as good as what he produces. His job, his paycheck, his ability to fix, to provide, to solve, to carry. Nobody asks a man how he feels at the job site. Nobody asks a man how he feels in the boardroom. Nobody asks a man how he feels at the gym. He is evaluated. He is measured. He is ranked. And he knows it. From the time he's a little boy, he learns that softness gets you hurt, that needing gets you mocked, that warning gets you used. So he builds a wall. And that wall is thick, baby. It's got steel in it. It's got concrete in it. It's got 20 years of his daddy telling him to shake it off, and his coach telling him to walk it off, and his boys telling him he's tripping. Now here you come, and you think the way through that wall is to be more impressive, more armored, more unbothered? No, no, no. You don't get through a man's wall with a battering ram. You get through it with warmth. You get through it with warmth. You get through it with softness. You get through it with these 7 gestures that tell his nervous system in a language older than words. You can put the armor down here. You're safe here. You're home here. That's what melts a man. That's what makes him drive 45 minutes out of his way just to see your face for 10 minutes. That's what makes him tell his boys, man, I don't know what it is about her, but I can't stop thinking about her. He can't articulate it. But I can't. So I knew woman. Let's call her Denise. Denise was 42, divorced, successful, gorgeous, ran her own real estate office, had the car, had the house, had the wardrobe. And Denise kept meeting men and watching them fade out after 2 or 3 months, every time. Same pattern. They come in hot. Flowers, text, dinners, plans, and then somewhere around week 8, week 10, they cool off, go quiet, become busy. And Denise would call me and say, Steve, what am I doing wrong? I'm beautiful. I'm successful. I'm generous. I pay for half the dates. I don't ask him for anything. I don't pressure him. What's the problem? And I said, Denise, baby, that's exactly the problem. You don't ask him for anything. You don't need anything. You don't react to anything. You greet him like a business associate. You touch him like you're afraid he'll break. You talk to him like you're closing a deal. He feels like he's dating a colleague, not a woman. And a man cannot melt for a colleague. She got quiet. And then she said something that broke my heart. She said, but Steve, the last time I was soft with a man, he destroyed me. I promised myself I'd never be that open again. Oh, sister, how many of you just felt that in your chest? How many of you built the same wall Denise built? You got hurt, so you armored up, and now you're wondering why nobody can get in. You locked the door, and you're mad that nobody's in the house. Listen to me. The armor that protected you from the wrong man is the same armor that's blocking the right one. And these 7 gestures, they're not about being weak. They're about being strategic with your softness. They're about choosing, deliberately, powerfully, as a grown woman, to be warm, because you understand what warmth does to a man. This isn't submission. This is power. This is the kind of power that doesn't have to announce itself. The kind of power that walks in a room and doesn't say a word, and somehow every man in that room wants to know who she is. That's what we're building today. Now here's where most women mess up before we even start. They hear 7 gestures that melt a man's heart, and they immediately think it's about manipulation, tricks, games. And let me stop you right there, because I don't teach games. Games get you a boy. Games get you attention. Games get you a situationship that drags on for 2 years and ends with you crying in your car in a Target parking lot. What I'm teaching you is the opposite of games. Games are fake softness used to get something. What I'm teaching you is real warmth given freely, because you understand your own power. A man can tell the difference. Men are not as dumb as y'all think they are. They might not be able to articulate what feels off, but their gut knows. Their gut always knows. When your softness is a strategy, his gut says something ain't right. When your softness is real, when it comes from a woman who is genuinely comfortable in her own skin, genuinely happy to see him, genuinely delighted by him, his gut says, I want more of this. I want to be near this. I want to earn this. And that, sister, is the difference between a man who takes you out and a man who builds a life around you. One of them is entertaining you. The other one is choosing you. You want to be chosen. So let's talk about how. Gesture 1. The way you greet him. Ladies, this one is so simple you're going to want to skip past it. Don't. Do not skip past this. This is the foundation of everything. The way you greet a man when you see him, whether it's been 8 hours or 8 days, sets the emotional temperature of the entire interaction. And most women are greeting their men like they're checking them into a dentist appointment. Hey, that's it. That's the greeting. Hey, flat, distracted. Half looking at the phone, half looking at the stove, half looking at the TV. And then y'all wonder why he comes home and goes straight to the garage. Why he sits in the driveway for 20 minutes before he comes in. Why he seems more excited to see the dog than to see you. It's because the dog greets him like he matters. The dog loses its mind when he walks in the door. The dog acts like his arrival is the best thing that happened all day. And you gave him a hey and a half smile and went back to whatever you were doing. Now I know what you're about to say. Steve, I've been with this man for 11 years. I can't act like a golden retriever every time he walks in the door. And you're right. I'm not asking you to be a golden retriever. I'm asking you to be a woman who makes a man feel like coming home to her is an event, not a routine. An event. There's a difference. A routine is, hey, dinner's in the oven. An event is you stop what you're doing. You look at him. You let your whole face light up. You say, there he is. Or, hey, you, with warmth in it, with a little smile that says you're genuinely glad he exists. 15 seconds. That's all it takes. 15 seconds of letting a man feel like his presence on this planet, in this house, in your life, is a good thing. Let me tell you what happens inside a man when you greet him like that. See, men are wired to scan for their standing. Everywhere a man goes all day long, he's unconsciously scanning. Am I respected here? Am I wanted here? Am I winning here? Am I winning here? At work, the answer is usually maybe if your numbers are good. With his boys, the answer is yeah, but don't get soft about it. With the world, the answer is prove it. And then he walks through your door. And in that first 10 seconds, his nervous system gets its answer about the most important place in his life. If you greet him flat, his nervous system says, this is just another place I have to perform, and he'll stay armored. He'll sit on that couch armored. He'll eat dinner armored. He'll lay next to you in bed armored. But if you greet him warm, if you look up and your face changes and your voice softens and you say his name like it's good news, his nervous system says, I can put it down here. The armor can come off here. And baby, when a man's armor comes off around you, that's when his heart comes out. That's when he starts telling you things he's never told anybody. That's when he starts doing things for you he never planned to do. That's when he starts thinking about rings and houses and forever. Not because you asked, because you greeted him like he mattered, and nobody else in his whole life does that. I knew a woman, let's call her Tasha. Tasha was dating a good man, a solid man, construction manager, worked long hours, treated her well, but she told me the relationship felt flat. She said, Steve, there's no spark anymore. He comes over, we eat, we watch TV, he leaves or he stays, and it's fine, but it's fine. I want more than fine. I asked her, when he walks in the door, what do you do? She said, I say, hey. I said, from where? She said, from the kitchen usually, or the couch. I said, do you get up? She said, no. I said, do you look at him? She said, I glance at him. I said, Tasha, try something for me. For the next 2 weeks, every time that man walks in your door, I want you to stop what you're doing. Put the phone down, put the spoon down, put the remote down, walk over to him, look him in the eye, smile like you mean it, and say, hey, baby, I'm glad you're here. Then go back to whatever you were doing. That's all. 2 weeks. She thought I was oversimplifying. She thought her flat relationship needed couples therapy and a vacation and a long conversation about the future. She called me 9 days later. She said, Steve, what is happening? I said, tell me. She said, he's different. He's talking more. He's touching me more. Last night he just grabbed me and hugged me in the kitchen for no reason. He brought me coffee this morning. He fixed the thing in my bathroom I've been asking about for 6 months. What did you do? I said. I didn't do anything. You did. You made that man feel like coming to your house was the best part of his day. And a man will move heaven and earth to protect the place where he feels like a king. That's not manipulation. That's not a trick. That's just understanding that a man is a living, feeling creature who is starving for the feeling of being genuinely welcomed by a woman he cares about. And almost no woman gives it to him. The bar is on the floor, ladies. The bar is on the floor, and you can step right over it and be the most magnetic woman he's ever met just by how you say hello. Now, here's the mistake women make with this. They do it once. They do it for 3 days. It feels awkward. He doesn't immediately propose, and they quit. It didn't work. Sister, you are rewiring years of flat greetings. You are teaching his nervous system a new pattern, and his nervous system is suspicious at first. It has to be, because the last thing a man's gut trusts is sudden change. So for the first week, he might not respond much. He might even act a little confused. He'd go it. Because what's happening underneath is that every warm greeting is making a deposit. Every time you look up and light up, you're putting money in an account. And one day, and it usually doesn't take long, that account hits a threshold, and he starts making withdrawals in the form of affection, attention, effort, and devotion. And you'll be sitting there thinking, where did this man come from? He was there the whole time. You just finally gave him a door to walk through. So greet him like he matters, not like a golden retriever. Like a woman who was genuinely, honestly glad that out of all the places he could be, he chose to be here with you. That's gesture one. Gesture two. Casual, unplanned, no agenda touch. Now, this one is going to surprise some of you because when I say touch, a lot of women immediately think I'm talking about the bedroom. I'm not. That kind of touch is important, but that's not what melts a man. What melts a man is the touch that means nothing except I like you. The hand on his shoulder when you walk past him. The fingers through his hair when he's driving. The palm flat on his chest when you're standing close. The squeeze of his arm when he says something funny. The touch on his back when you move behind him in the kitchen. Little touches. 2-second touches. Touches that aren't going anywhere. Aren't asking for anything. Aren't starting anything. Touches that just say, you're mine. And I like that you're mine. Most women stop doing this. Somewhere between year 1 and year 3, the casual touch dies. And it doesn't die because of him. It dies because of her. She gets busy. She gets comfortable. She gets annoyed. She starts associating touch with obligation, so she stops touching unless she means it in that way. And the man notices. Oh, he notices. He might not say anything. Men almost never say anything, but he feels the absence of your hands like a draft in a house. Something's colder in here. Something's missing. And he can't name it, so he just gets quieter, gets more distant, spends more time in the garage or on his phone or at work. And you think he's pulling away from you. Baby, he's not pulling away from you. He's starving in a house where nobody touches him anymore. Here's the psychology. Men are touched less than any other group of human beings on this planet. Little boys stop getting hugged around age 9 or 10. After that, the only touch most men get is competitive. Sports, fighting, roughhousing, or sexual. That's it. That's the whole menu. Nobody touches a man just to be kind. Nobody touches a man just to say, I'm here. His coworkers don't touch him. His friends don't touch him. Not like that, not warm. His mama might, if he's lucky. But in his day-to-day adult life, a man can go weeks. Some men go months without a single gentle, caring, no-agenda touch from another human being. Now you tell me what happens when the woman he loves puts her hand on the back of his neck while he's sitting at the table. You tell me what happens when she runs her fingers across his shoulders, when she walks behind his chair. You tell me what happens when she takes his hand in the car. Not to go anywhere with it, just to hold it. His whole body exhales. His whole nervous system downshifts. Something in him that has been clenched for years unclenches. And he associates that unclenching with you. Do you understand the power of that? You become the only place in his entire world where his body relaxes. You become his peace, not with words, not with arguments, not with long conversations about the relationship, with your fingertips, with the palm of your hand, with 2 seconds of warmth as you walk past him. That's power, sister. That's real, quiet, devastating power. Let me tell you about Rachel. Rachel was married for 14 years, and she told me her marriage had become roommate energy. She said, Steve, we're friendly. We don't fight. We parent well together, but there's no fire. There's no tenderness. He feels like my brother. And I hate saying that, but it's true. I asked her, when's the last time you touched that man without it leading somewhere or meaning something? She thought about it for a long time. She said, I honestly can't remember. I said, there's your fire, or rather, there's your missing fire. And I gave her the same assignment. I said, for 2 weeks, I want you to touch your husband 5 times a day, not sexually, casually. Hand on his arm when you talk to him. Kiss on his cheek when you pass him. Hand on his knee when you're sitting next to him. Fingers on his collar when you're face to face, 5 times a day. 2 weeks. She said, that's it? I said, that's it. She called me 11 days later, and she was crying, but the good kind. She said, Steve, he hugged me in the laundry room yesterday. Just hugged me, held on. And then he said, I miss this. 14 years, and this man said, I missed this over a hug in the laundry room. I said, Rachel, he didn't miss the hug. He missed you. He missed the version of you that used to reach for him. And when you started reaching again, he came back to life. Because a man can survive a lot of things, but he cannot survive feeling untouchable to the woman he loves. It withers something in him. And when you touch him again, casually, warmly, freely, you water something that thought it was dead. Ladies, hear me. Your hands are magic, not in the bedroom, in the kitchen, in the car, in the hallway, on the couch. A man whose woman touches him casually and often is a man who feels loved in a way he cannot explain and cannot replace. And he will not leave the woman who makes him feel that. He won't even look at another woman because nobody else touches him like that. Nobody else even thinks to. Now, here's the warning section, because there's always a wrong way to do a right thing. Do not use touch as currency. Do not touch him when you want something and go cold when you don't. Men feel that. Their gut picks up on transactional touch faster than you think, and it does the opposite of melting. It makes him feel managed. Nobody wants to feel managed. The touch has to be free. It has to be given because you like him, not because you're working him. And if you're sitting there thinking, but Steve, I don't feel like touching him. I'm mad at him. He's been distant. He's been on my nerves. I hear you, and we'll get to that. But let me plant this seed now. Sometimes the feeling follows the action. Sometimes the tilling follows the action. Sometimes you touch first, and the tenderness comes after. That's not fake. That's how human nervous systems work. You reach out, and something in both of you softens. Try it before you doubt it. Touch him like you like him, even when, especially when, you've forgotten that you do.